Yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey, sports fans! Welcome to the best sports podcast on the planet, Sports Unfolded, where we cover all of this week's top sports stories. I am your host, Eric. Main man right over there, Ron. How are you tonight?
I feel like we haven't left
It's
broadcast.
It's like we just saw each other recently. I mean, it's kind of crazy. So if you haven't seen, to check out our Sports Unfolded NFL draft party.
It was
last
good.
night. We had a lot of fun watching the 2025 NFL draft.
It was good. Man, they dragged that out. Oh
They
my
always
God.
do. They
The
always
massive amounts of advertising
Yeah.
on that is just absolutely insane.
Well, they got to make their money. I'm
sure they have to make it.
They definitely did that. First and foremost, we want to thank all of those that help support Sports Unfolded. WDJY 99.1 FM in Dallas, Georgia. Thank you for your support every Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as well as W990 WBOB.com in Providence, Rhode Island, every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, as well as SECTV Public Access Channel 12 in Southeast Connecticut on every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. as well. So thank you for the support. We also want to thank all of the fans out there. So if you are joining us live, please join our chat as we have our conversations. Let us know. And we want to also, new thing here, Sports Unfolded. We want to thank those fans that have taken time to put some comments out. John Celio, former Rhode Islander, living in Thailand. Great show. Can you talk more about RFC, or can you talk about RFC more? Actually, we should be doing something in the next month or so with Rhode Island Football Club, so we're excited about that. And also Billy the Kid. Look at these goons. So again, if you have comments and you put them on, we will definitely make sure we mention them, but we want to thank them for their comments.
Yeah, even though we're called goons,
That's all right. Goons could be a good thing, too. I got a couple of
can
goons
be.
of my boys. They're my boys. They're my goons. It's a good thing.
Sure.
So thank you all for all your support. Let's make sure we join the chat tonight. Let's have some fun with that as well.
Yeah, we had, Elias, James.
Yeah.
Joining the chat. Danny even stopped by.
Yes.
And he's getting married, huh?
Yeah.
How about that?
So that's kind of exciting. So it's like we're watching him grow up before our eyes. So that was kind of cool. All right, Ron. Well, I guess we should get this thing started.
And you don't want to just chat about nothing for the next hour and a half?
We could. I mean, it worked for Seinfeld. I mean, we could. It could be the next Seinfeld. So.
Yeah, that brings up some hurt feelings. Costanza.
Do tell. Oh, the Costanza thing. Yes. So let's go off and start our show with our leadoff story, and that's the NFL draft. Kicked off last night. Let's discuss some of our winners and losers. Definitely an interesting first round already in this 2025 draft. But who were some of the teams that you felt, Ron, did really well?
Well, I do like what the Giants did. They did move up and they did grab a quarterback, Jackson Dart. Now look, you can question the quarterback they took, but I don't think it's that much of a difference between the two, to be honest with you. I don't think either of them are going to be great. They will be average to above average. They'll bring some wins to a franchise. I don't think either of those two are going to make that much of a difference. Now, whether Cam Ward makes a difference, that's a different story. If he doesn't, complete bust.
Yeah.
And we've seen it there before.
Number
Russell.
one pick. Yeah, we're gonna have some fun with with that.
But
segment
I
as well.
like what they did. I thought it was smart for Cleveland to drop down in the draft.
Yep, pick up some
Not
assets.
sure I like what they did with it.
I will say this though, next year's class seems to be a lot better.
Yeah.
I could definitely see why they did that. Quarterback class will be much improved. Cleveland won the draft.
And they got a shot at
With Garrett.
Sanders now.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, 2 top 5s possibly. Travis Hunter, some question. Again, was that a reach by Jacksonville? A lot of talk about them just trying to make some noise so that they become relevant again. Jacksonville obviously struggling to kind of, get their team to be as popular as they'd like them to be.
I mean,
Disease.
It's the easy pick. I get it. But do you think it's sustainable to play on both sides of the ball? I don't think it's sustainable in the NFL.
Yeah,
I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
I don't see it. So you have the Giants.
I have the Giants because I like what they did. Right. I like their first pick, and I actually do like them picking Jackson Dart. I think he has the skills to be their quarterback. I'm not so sure Sanders was the guy.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. But I had the Colts as a winner. I thought Tyler Warren, tight end, Penn State.
Oh, that was fantastic.
6'5.5", 256, big target, a must need for the team. We had a lot of issues with teams not drafting for need. And I thought the Colts checked that box. This is definitely a need for them. So,
and that's a big box to check too. Look, when you have that size of a tight end, I mean, you saw what Gronk did. I mean, that's the impact you're looking at. If he has even 60% of Gronk in him, that's a massive pickup. Massive.
Yeah. Another steal for me, Josh Simmons, the very last pick. This was a top 15 pick. I know some questions with the knee injury, but if you look at it, again, this is a steal for the Chiefs. They don't need him to start right away. It gives him an opportunity to kind of work himself back into shape, kind of get back. But this is a high pick and an offensive tackle.
I was thinking about this, Eric, and something wasn't right to me. Everybody's worried about that knee you're a lineman, right? That's not easy to do and to come back from, knee problems. But it's not like he's an offensive lineman. I think it's tougher on the offensive lineman because they have to absorb the hit and take that step with their leg.
He is offensive.
And that puts more pressure on it.
He's offensive tackle.
Oh, so then my concerns are right.
You are tired.
I am. I'm not right all day today.
But I will say this again, if you think about it, it's the 32nd pick overall. If this kid turns out to be, again, a top 15, which he was projected to be, I think they got a steal there.
Yeah, but they might not have him for a lot of the season, though. I mean, I don't know where he's progressed in his rehab, but it's got to be still there.
Yeah, but again, even if it's week 5, he misses the first month of the season. It gives him time to learn, the NFL and kind of that process.
I mean, he is going to be a future, potential All-Pro.
Yeah, I think so. Who else do you have as winners, Ron?
Well, of course, I have Jackson Dart as a winner because he got drafted in the first round.
Yeah.
So that in itself, he's going to make more money, being a first rounder. So he's going to get a very secure contract as opposed to somebody in the second round isn't going to get so much. And that's why the loser for me is definitely Shadur Sanders. He lost in this. He lost a
Yeah.
lot of money being dropped to the second round. That's a lot.
Well, even if he gets the second round, we don't know yet. We'll find out.
Right. And that's just it. Does he get picked by Cleveland or does he keep falling?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see.
Could you imagine if he keeps falling and somebody else gets picked ahead of him?
Yeah. Yeah. I also had the Raiders with that Ashton Genty. I think they got the best playmaker in the draft. The kid has a ton of upside when it comes to some of the comparisons. So again, if they get he beat Barry Sanders' record in college, LaDainian Tomlinson comparisons, things like that. If that's what they've got a guy now that they can focus their offense around, which they needed.
Guy, though.
Yeah, but again, for a running back,
stocky, but
yeah, for a running back, I don't think that's as big a concern. I would be more concerned with, again, can they do enough to facilitate a line around him that is going to be able to block and make him, more efficient as a runner. And again, Boise State versus, playing in the pros is a lot different. So we could see that being an issue as well. But I also have one more winner, Ron. I have the Cowboys. I like the Tyler Booker.
Made a good pick.
I like that pick. I think they didn't try to get, a lot of people said go wide receiver. Listen, the strength of the Dallas Cowboys in the past was the offensive line. They lose Zach Martin. He retires. Here's a tough kid who's hungry, who wants to play. I thought that was a great pick. It was a smart move versus just doing what fans ask you to do, which we criticize Jerry Jones all the time for making some weird decisions. But to me, he didn't cave to the pressure and decide to do something that wouldn't be beneficial to his team.
I liked Atlanta's pick as well. James Pierce, right?
Yeah.
I thought they needed some defense. They needed somebody that could put some pressure on the quarterback. They did go there. Wait, was it them that picked Pierce? No, who's the one that picked Pierce?
They had Pierce. They had 2 picks. They got both of the kids.
Yeah. All right. So
on the defensive side of the ball,
so
wow,
I'm really out of it.
Yeah.
I'm second guessing myself now.
Yeah.
That I like that pick, and where they got him was tremendous.
Yeah. Trading back in, right? I just don't know about giving up a first round pick.
I don't know about that.
I was a little
but
questionable on that.
If you ask me what the players they got, they did win with the players.
Yeah.
I think they could have actually done better in their original pick.
Yeah.
But they did get 2 players out of that first round. So
I will say I have 3 losers, one of which we talked about at length yesterday during our draft show. The Chargers and Amarian Hampton, the running back from North Carolina. Again, not a bad player, and I like it, but they got Najee Harris, and I understand what he's trying to do, Jim Harbaugh, and he wants the double backs and but I still felt like they needed edge rusher. They lose Joey Bosa. Defensively, they are still not where they need to be. They have a good enough line that they could have probably gotten a running back in the second or third round.
You could have actually gotten him in the second round.
So
you could have gotten him in the second round.
So I did not like that move. As well as the Buccaneers, Emeka Egbuka, the wide receiver from Ohio State. Great character guy. Heard a lot of good things today about him as well. But again, here's another team that needed defense. They have Godwin. They have Mike Evans. Did not like that pick. I felt like they should have went that route.
They did have a lot of injuries, Eric. I mean, last year they were missing so many receivers throughout the whole season. You had to feel this was coming. Yeah,
I think you could go to a wide receiver second, third round based on the talent you already have.
That's what I think about. I think about a lot of the players that were drafted. I think a lot of the players, I would say half of the players were drafted way ahead of where they should have been. And they let a lot of players slide down.
Yeah, and there's still some really great players that are going to go early in this second round. The only other one I really had that I was disappointed with was the Packers. Matthew Golden, very good, again, wide receiver from Texas, speed, has the intangibles. But again, in that division where you're playing Detroit twice, and we know Chicago offensively is going to be much improved, I felt like
you either need to rush the passer or lock down a corner.
Yeah. And we've seen Green Bay pick up guys. It was like the old Patriots where you'd find some scrap heap guy that worked at Starbucks and could. Green Bay seems to do the same thing. Like they just seem to, every wide receiver that's come in there has been successful. So having to use a first round pick when you could have probably done a third, fourth, fifth round pick and still gotten probably the same production based on your offense and what you've been able to do in the past. But that was my losers.
Yeah, I mean, those are pretty good ones. My loser, I think, is Pittsburgh. Look, I don't care who they get for quarterback this year. Whoever they get is not a long-term solution. And I think they really missed the boat on this. And now they're going to get caught without being able to draft anybody good. I mean, when you think about it, if you're not getting Sanders at this point, you're left out in the cold. You're going to have a quarterback that is going to need maybe 2 years.
Yeah. And you've talked about it. It's either the Aaron Rodgers or the Kirk Cousins thing. And even that isn't a guarantee right now. So they're playing with.
And like I said, even further, you could end up with maybe Garoppolo. But I don't think he's in LA Rams, right?
I have no idea. I think so now. I don't know where he is anymore.
But I mean, those are not long-term solutions. And you're going to find yourself without a quarterback next year.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you there, buddy. All right, let's continue this NFL talk. And let's discuss why do you think Shedeur Sanders fell out of the first round? What do you think was the biggest factor, Ron?
I think there was a combination of things. I think, first of all, what we saw last year with the panic with teams trying to get a quarterback, between that and just nobody really stands out this year. Nobody is
very weak class, especially at the quarterback position.
And when you think about it, really the only couple of teams that didn't have a quarterback at all is really Cleveland and Pittsburgh. So, the Giants, look, they got Russell, and that's all fine and dandy. And Jameis Winston?
Yes.
So it's not great, but it's still better than what they've had. Now, with that is only a Band-Aid. So they knew that they wanted to get a guy, and they felt that their guy was Jackson Dart rather than Sanders. Whether or not it was because of Dion, might have been a small factor in this, right?
I think it was a bigger factor. I think that a lot of teams were hesitant to want to have to deal with that side of, drafting Shedeur Sanders. You're going to have a high profile, very vocal, very public figure that is going to make it difficult for you to actually coach this kid. It's week 6. If he's not starting and the team's 0-5, you don't think Dad's popping off on the media
and he's going to get
circuit.
the fans up in an uproar, and even if he's in there, and something goes wrong, what is he going to do? He's going to blame the coaching staff and blame this because his son can do no wrong.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, humility for him in this process of understanding, first of all, that tent party or whatever it was, and there was a rapper there. I don't even know who he was, but and Legendary was all over the tent, and you haven't stepped on a football field in the NFL yet.
And you're already entitled.
right? And I think that a lot
With
of
his
teams,
big, huge chain and
so I think it gives a bad image for these GMs, these owners to say, do I really want to deal with this? Because it's already coming with baggage. Again, I think it was a bad look for
and then
him.
you're in New York on top of it.
Yeah, he had every opportunity to go to Green Bay, right, and be in the green room and show like, hey, I'm just like everybody else, and I will take my, opportunity when it comes to cross that stage, and you chose not to. And I think again, that was his chance to be in the first round, because I think teams would have felt like, okay, he's genuinely caring about this process and wanting to be in the NFL. It looked like he was just out there having a party that was more about showcasing him and what his
what it
family
is?
does.
You got a player with an NBA attitude, and the NFL is not the NBA.
No.
They do not let the players control the teams. The teams control the NFL and the players, and you're not going to show up the league.
Yeah. And so, again, if you look at it too, and I wanted to do this comparison, so I was glad you brought it up, Ron. Obviously, Shedeur Sanders, Big 12 player, Offensive Player of the Year in 2024, 353 on 477 attempts, 74% completion percentage.
Great numbers.
So you hear these numbers, you're like, wow, 4,134 yards passing, 8.7 yards per attempt, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Very good numbers. Jackson Dart, 276 completions, almost 100 less completions, 69.3% completion percentage, less than Shedeur Sanders. 4,279 yards passing, about 100 yards more there. 10.8 yards per attempt, 29 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. The numbers are not better. The character piece, that's what ultimately put Jackson Dart over Shedeur Sanders. And I'm not sure that at any point there's going to be a team here in the second or third round tonight that is going to take him.
It's probably Cleveland.
But you are going to have to deal with that other piece of the puzzle, and that's Deion Sanders. And the questions for a coach, if I'm a coach in the NFL right now, Ron, because it already came up in Dallas. Oh, well, Dallas draft him because then they could get Deion to coach. Like, I don't want that on my plate. I want to be able to coach this kid because he's on my team. I don't want to worry about if I don't coach him right, that the team's going to try to replace me with Deion because it's a higher profile name and it's just going to get more people into the stands.
Yeah, and, I got a funny feeling that Cleveland is going to draft him. And Deion Sanders does not want him to go to Cleveland.
No. I'm sure he was disappointed that New York didn't take him. That was a big market. That was a ton of money. But again, we'll have to see what happens tonight. But I'd be surprised. I really would. I'd be surprised. I don't know if he goes in the second round.
I am not someone that likes these kids that are about to be drafted to run the show. Look, you have to earn your stripes. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. You don't just get it. You don't get it. You have to earn it. And that is the thing that is so lost. And especially in the NBA, when you start thinking about these young players and attitudes, and they're not learning from the past. They're self-entitled, and it's so tiresome to watch this stuff and just to watch the behavior. I want to see a player come up there and say, I will do whatever I can to bring a championship here.
I mean, look, we saw it yesterday.
I'm looking forward to day one. Look, this is what I want to hear from these players.
Ron, day one, the Cam Ward getting drafted number one, and you saw the emotion and how he was said he wasn't a top recruit. Nobody wanted him, and he worked his blank off.
Absolutely.
Right, to get to where he was. And I think you start to look at a lot of the players yesterday, and the emotion and what you saw was someone who generally was excited to be in that position. What I saw every time they flashed to Shedeur Sanders in that party was somebody who was just having a good time, not really caring about what happened. Because no matter what, his father has money. He's got NIL deals that he had, and I'm sure he made some money. So it's not a big deal to him. And it wasn't about the process. And I could be completely wrong. I don't know the kid. Who knows? But again, appearance sometimes is everything. When
What
somebody
you
sees
see
that,
is the optics, right? You're
it
seeing
was
those
there.
optics, and he's not appreciative, really.
No, and it's a shame. It's a shame because I think the kid could be a talent. I don't know if he'd be great, but I think he could be a talent in the NFL. But we'll see. We'll see about a half hour from now. Round 2 kicks off. So
It makes you really appreciate some of the players that you're used to seeing, that have been in the league a while now. It makes you really appreciate some of those players.
Yeah.
Like when you see, you know, and I get on Kansas City all the time, but when you see Patrick Mahomes talk and how it's always about the team.
Think about this transformation. Baker Mayfield. There was a point where Baker Mayfield, we all looked at it and said, this kid's not going to make it. Like, it was all about Baker. And then eventually he realized, like, holy cow, I better figure out how to be a team player.
And I appreciate that from Baker Mayfield now, right? And he grew up. He grew up. And he understood, maybe I need to adjust myself.
Yeah.
And now he's more successful because he learned.
And you
don't just get a gift.
And sometimes, and I hate saying this, because we talk about parenting and fathers, especially in these kids' lives that aren't part of it. So Deion was part of his life, which is great. I commend him for that. He's been there throughout this kid's career and helping him grow. But at some point, as a father too, you have to realize, like, this kid needs to learn on his own. Maybe it came a little easier to Deion when he was a pro because he was so gifted and he was so talented and he was so much better than everybody else. Whereas Shedeur may have to work to get there. So Deion may have to take a step back and say, listen, the best thing for you is to go wherever you go and work your tail off and become a better player.
Absolutely.
And if that happens, then maybe some humility comes into play and the kid actually just starts to learn how to be a professional and he'll be successful. But again, we'll see. We're almost there, about 30 minutes. We'll see. All right, Ron. Well, we're still talking some NFL because we're going to go to our starting 5. Our starting 5 tonight, we decided to continue with the NFL draft talk, and we are giving you our starting 5 number 1 draft picks that were quarterbacks since the year 2000. You are first this week, Ron, so your honorable mentions.
All right, my honorable mentions. I sort of have 5.
Okay.
Not really. I really only have 3 honorable mentions, but I'm going to mention 2 as honorable mention. And one of them is Baker Mayfield. Didn't quite make the honorable mention list, but I think, and it's because he's 50-53.
Yeah, I almost put him in, but again, losing record.
So, but I think this coming season, he might have a shot at least making his record 500.
Okay.
So I do have to say that. And my other honorable mention is Eli Manning.
He's on my honorable mention.
Look, his numbers suck.
They do. He's a 500 quarterback, but he got 2 Super Bowls.
But he has 2 Super Bowls, so he had to be.
He's an honorable mention for me as well.
So my three though, Carson Palmer.
My honorable mention.
92 and 88.
Yeah.
with
Not
one
bad.
eye. No, not bad. And I was all over this player. All over him. Cam Newton, honorable mention. I mean, 75 and 68. That's a winning record.
Yeah.
That's a winning record. 194 touchdowns, 123 interceptions, 3 Pro Bowls. You know, he put up numbers.
Mhm.
Couldn't get it done, but put up numbers. And then I have Alex Smith just on the outside.
Interesting.
He got
Okay.
bumped at the last player I did. He got bumped.
Okay. All right. So I also had Carson Palmer and Eli Manning. I put Joe Burrow only because it just not enough yet for me. There wasn't enough. Wow. Wasn't enough for me. And then Matthew Stafford. And Matthew Stafford, because he had a losing record in his career so far. He still is not a 500 quarterback. So Matthew Stafford did not make my top 5. So let's start this starting 5, Ron. At number 5, who do you have?
I actually have Matthew Stafford. I know he's 108, 113. A lot of those losses was in Detroit, and I'm not making the excuses for them, but they did not know what they were doing as a team, as you can see by the players that they've lost through in history because of their ineptness. But I still think Matthew Stafford is a fantastic quarterback. He's the only guy on the list with a Super Bowl.
Yeah, agreed. That is true.
So he had to be in for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to put anybody with a losing record, but he got a pass because of that Super Bowl.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I kept him out because of the losing record. But all right, at 5 for me, Danny, welcome. At number 5 for me, I had Andrew Luck. And here's a kid that honestly, if he was longer in the league, I think he would have crushed some records. 53 and 33, over 500 by 20 games. 4 Pro Bowls, 171 touchdowns, and 23,000 yards passing in that short time. Andrew Luck was going to be a phenomenal player. He just did not stay in the league long enough, but I like that win percentage. So I went Andrew Luck at number 5. So who do you have at 4?
I have Michael Vick, number 4. And I'm sure you have him higher. I'm sure you do. He's right where he should be at number 4 because he was 61 and 51. Man, I wish he would have grew up faster. You know what I mean? This guy could have been something. I do not doubt that he could have won a Super Bowl.
Thank you, Danny.
If not for that.
Yeah, I think he would have.
And it's too bad because he's super talented, and you know, it's like I don't think his completion percentage is tremendous, but it certainly wasn't as bad as some other players.
Yeah.
But he is the lowest on this list.
Yeah, no, I got you.
But he does get it done.
Yeah,
7.0 yards per attempt, 133 touchdowns, 88 interceptions, 4 Pro Bowls. This guy was super talented.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, it just bothers me.
Yeah, no, agreed. All right, for me at 4, I had one of your honorable mentions, Alex Smith. I mean, again, 99 wins, the most
I totally
on
see
this
it.
list.
I struggled
67 losses, 3 Pro Bowls, 199 touchdowns, over 35,000 yards passing. Here's another guy. Again, the injury bug. I mean, he had that gruesome injury, right?
That was a bad one.
The fact that he even came back from that run, right? But so at 4 for me, Alex Smith, I thought deserved it based on the fact 99 wins. I thought that was really impressive.
I love how he stresses your name. Keep up the good work.
It's a team effort.
Good job. like you come up with the topics and everything, and I just do the graphics.
It's a team effort. It's a team
It
effort.
is.
Who do you have at number 3?
Number 3, I have Andrew Luck. I thought his numbers,
Wow, you
even
went
though
higher.
he didn't play long, man, this guy was so good. You know, that win percentage is tremendous. 60.8 completion percentage, 7.2 yards per attempt. And I really like that number because that really tells you you're moving the ball down the field. When you throw the ball, chances are you're going to be getting a first down. And 171 touchdowns, 83 interceptions is phenomenal. In the short period of time he was in 4 Pro Bowl. Like when he came out as a rookie, and look, the record sucked. But you saw that talent in day 1.
I will say this too with Andrew Luck. If he wasn't in the AFC, he probably would have got to a Super Bowl. He unfortunately had to face Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I think he would have made a Super Bowl. I really do.
He was a really good quarterback.
Very good. Very smart quarterback. Very good.
It's too bad he had to be
athletic. Yeah. Athletic. So at 3 for me, another one of your honorable mentions, I had Cam Newton. 75, 68, and 1, 3 Pro Bowls. Only guy that I saw was an All-Pro. So again, at that 1 year where he dominated and they went 15-1 and they went to the Super Bowl with Carolina, 194 touchdowns. He threw for over 32,000 yards. He also rushed for 5,600 yards and 75 touchdowns rushing.
all choked up.
Yeah, I know. You missed some in New England. So 75 touchdowns rushing as well.
I wouldn't go that far.
Cam Newton for me at 3. At 3, Cam Newton. Number 2, pick. Ron.
Number 2, I have Joe Burrow.
Wow. Okay.
And I really wanted him to look. Out of all these quarterbacks, Joe Burrow is my favorite of all of them. He did bring the team to a Super Bowl.
So did Cam.
He needs to get some help, though, man. He needs some help.
That was another team I think was a loser because they could have got an offensive lineman. But anyway, we move
on. But anyway, Joe Burrow, like, super talented. 140 touchdowns, 46 interceptions, 2 Pro Bowls, 7.5 yards per attempt. I mean, there's only one player that had more than that. So that's pretty damn good.
Okay.
Let me see. 19,001 yards. Hopefully he gets that many this year. That would be a record. Look, he's just on a team that just can't seem to get up for the beginning of a season. And I don't know what the reason is. But I hope they figure it out because I like him as a quarterback.
Yeah,
he's one of my favorites.
He's a good player. He really is. This is where I think I got a little punch drunk. My 2 and 1, I'm starting to look at him like, what did I think? But at 2 for me, I went Jared Goff, 81-52.
Who the hell is number 1?
4-time Pro Bowler, 222 touchdowns, over 32,000 yards passing. Again, another guy that went to the Super Bowl. And again, you think about the turnaround in Detroit. He's been a big factor with that offense. So I went Jared Goff at number 2.
I hope you didn't put who I think you did.
So number 1, Ron, who do you have?
Oh, please don't.
What do you have at number 1, my friend?
I have Jared Goff, and for me, there's no one else left out there. Jared Goff, 81-52, 65.6 completion percentage, 35,000 yards, 7.5 yards per attempt, right there with Joe.
Mm-hmm.
222 touchdowns, 94 interceptions, 4-time Pro Bowler. Jared Goff. I would have never have thought this.
Isn't that insane? Right? It's kind of crazy to think about.
Please tell me you don't have one of the brothers at number 1.
I have Michael Vick at number 1 for me.
Oh, okay. I thank God.
61, 51, and 1. 4-time Pro Bowler. 133 touchdowns. 6,109 yards rushing, though, in the 36 touchdowns. But you talk about electricity. Another guy. So a lot of these guys, we talked about it. Alex Smith with the injuries. Andrew Luck retiring early. Michael Vick, and obviously his issues. I think Michael Vick would have destroyed some records. You got Joe Milton. He's good, Danny. I don't know. Again, he played the 3rd string Buffalo Bills, but the kid's got some athletic. He's very athletic, and he's got a cannon. Like, his arm is by far one of the strongest I've seen in quite some time. So
Buffalo didn't want to win that game.
They didn't, and I'm not saying, but you saw athletically, the kid has some gifts. He still needs to be fine-tuned, but he could be a starting quarterback at some point. I don't know about in Dallas, but I think he could be a starting quarterback at some point. I don't think he's ready today. If you were to ask me, Danny, I still think Dak would be a much better option for the foreseeable future. But that was our starting 5, Ron.
How was I rude?
So let us have some NBA.
With Michael Vick, though, I get that, because we don't know how good he could have been. He's in that same category with Luck, only for different reasons.
Yeah. All right, let's talk some NBA, Ron. So a couple of big injury concerns. So which injury is more concerning to you with the playoffs here in the first round? The Jason Tatum wrist injury or the Jimmy Butler hip injury?
Well, it's got to be Jimmy Butler in this round, because the Celtics don't need Tatum to beat.
We see this exactly the same. Go ahead.
Orlando.
Yeah.
They don't have to. They don't have to have him there.
No.
Obviously.
He's a 3rd best scorer. I heard again.
But
you can't have that.
Golden State doesn't advance without Butler.
Yeah, agreed. 100%. 100%. He's 2nd in points, 3rd in rebounds, 2nd in assists, 2nd in steals in the postseason for Golden State. So absolutely, Jimmy Butler. Yeah, no, Danny agrees. I think that the issue is, do we know why? Why do you think, Danny, it's important? Because I don't see them getting past Houston. I agree with you. Boston pretty much a lock to get past Orlando. I don't think they need to.
Especially if Brown is going to be on a mission.
Right, 30-plus points the last game without Tatum. So, again, you could just kind of let him skip this series. But I would be concerned, again, going forward, and it's his shooting wrist with Tatum. You think that's why? I mean, I don't know. He seemed to be playing pretty well with him recently. I don't know if there's something out there about Draymond and him not getting along. Is there something that that maybe we don't, Danny? But that would be interesting. Will the Warriors get out of the first round without Jimmy Butler? Ron, I guess is the biggest question.
No, without Jimmy Butler, they're not advancing.
Right? What a
Houston's
difference he's
too
made
good
there.
for them to be one-dimensional.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have that guy that gets everyone going.
He's and we talk about playoff Jimmy. That's been a thing, and I don't know. I mean, he's a good player, but he does bring an energy, it seems, to a team, especially in the postseason. And you saw that with the trade with Golden State. Like, he came in, and all of a sudden, it was such a different atmosphere with that team, and it changed the direction where they were probably not even getting to the playoffs to competing to stay out of the play-in game.
That's the thing about him, right? He's not the guy. But he's going to get everybody to have that energy to support the guy. In this case, Steph Curry, right? Steph Curry isn't going to win this series by himself.
Agreed. He
But
needs some
if
help.
Butler is out, it's going to be like he is by himself. Hey, Michael's back.
Thanks for joining again. Yeah, anytime. Let us know, man. Shoot us a message. We'd love to have you on again. Especially,
Absolutely.
with the basketball. Yeah, listen, I completely agree. I think to your point, it's so much more impactful right now for Golden State. Long-term, Boston with Tatum, because again, would you say, are you questioning Tatum's toughness at this point?
Am I questioning Tatum's toughness? No.
So you don't think he could play through this injury?
I think he could. But I think they're sitting him just to make sure he gets that healthy. No sense in putting him out there if you're not needed in this series.
Okay.
I mean, look, let's face it. I mean, you got guys that can score. So it's not a question of that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm wondering again.
Now,
questions he's not going to play
ask me
tonight.
the same question in next round. That's a little different.
Yeah, round 2, game 2, now possibly game 3. We'll see how long they let him sit though. Too.
They're up 2-0.
Yeah. I mean, Draymond. I mean, it could be. Maybe Draymond again. Very prideful. He's been a Golden State Warrior for quite some time, so might feel a little bit of animosity if he's thinking Jimmy Butler's trying to take over the team when really Jimmy Butler is a piece of the team. So I could see that, Danny. Absolutely. All right, great talk. Great NBA playoffs. I mean, continued tonight as well. So I'm sure we'll be watching. But let's talk some Major League Baseball, Ron, because the Mets are red hot. The New York Mets are red hot. Best record in baseball. Should we consider them the best team in the league?
Well, right now, yeah. But I don't think they are the best team in the league.
Wow. Okay. Why is that?
Because I think the Dodgers have the best team in the league.
So here's where
best team money can buy.
I agree, but at some point, so one of the biggest pieces to any team winning in baseball, right? We talk about defense in football or basketball, right? Is pitching. If you have solid pitching, they are the number 1 team ERA wise in pitching.
Yes.
So far, 2.34, number 1 in baseball, 3rd in strikeouts. Great, right? So their pitching staff is doing
playing
well.
Very well.
Here's where I think they are the best team. Because if I was to ask you who their best player is before the season started, you would say Soto, right? We would expect Soto to be their best player. Pete Alonso signs that deal. He's leading the team in batting average, home runs, RBIs, OBP, and hits.
But that doesn't surprise me.
Francisco Lindor, who normally starts slow, hitting. So just imagine when Soto actually starts to hit.
Right.
That team is going to be very devastating.
But what's the rotation? Right? Is their rotation going to hold up the season? That's the question. And I keep going back to this philosophy by the Mets. And remember when Jacob deGrom was there and Harvey and at the beginning of the season, they'd always come out and they'd play great. And then they would break down and have injuries. Now, I'm not going to say that this is the best pitching staff because of that reason. They have a track record of breaking down mid-season and losing these guys. So until they can put it in a whole season, I'm skeptical. And But I look at the Dodgers and they're just stacked. They have a stacked lineup, and not for nothing, they're playing like the Celtics did this year. They're
Yeah.
cruising.
I would say you could be right. Danny agrees the Dodgers rule. I mean, I will say this though: if you can get pitching and pitching becomes a factor, good pitching beats good hitting. So they could possibly beat the Dodgers, although the Dodgers have very good pitching as well.
Yes.
But here's where the advantage for New York comes into play. Look at their division. Miami, the Marlins are not very good. Washington Nationals, and then the Atlanta Braves, who are off to a very slow start.
Yeah.
The Phillies, who are in second place, they just swept in their recent series. So you start to look at the division too. They're going to get some easy wins and start to really.
So that's when I get right in predictions.
Together. Yeah, that was the one I got right. Yeah, my one. But I will say that's where I feel like that's why they have an advantage. Soto hasn't become Soto, the Juan Soto we expect.
Right.
And they're doing what they're doing. And then if you get to play in a division.
Look, I'm not doubting those numbers. I'm just doubting whether the Mets can keep their guys healthy on the mound, because the short history of it is no.
Yeah.
They break down mid-season, and until they prove otherwise, I'm just going to assume, and you should never assume because we know what happens.
No, we know.
I'm just going to think that it's going to be a half a season, and then those pitchers are going to break down. Now, did they do anything to correct all of this short-term history? I don't know. I don't know if they have the same guys, working, the injuries process, right? Keeping these guys fit, trained, in shape, and able to to be a little flexible, with their muscles and everything. Look, they just have a tendency to break down, and those arms are very valuable right now. And if they break down again, it's just going to show me that it's their philosophies of pitching than doing something wrong.
No, it's an interesting.
So we'll see what happens halfway through the season if they're still there.
Yeah. Interesting comment there from Dan. Jimmy Butler and Juan Soto will be, I think, because they are going to ruin the team. I mean, I don't know if Soto will ruin the team. I could see that with Butler. Butler has a tendency and a track record where everywhere he's gone. Soto would be an interesting one because, again, I know even with his contract, a lot of demands. I don't know if maybe some of the players, and he's made some comments about, nobody good's hitting in front of him. And then you look at what Pete Alonso's doing. I'm like, it's pretty damn good. 341 batting average. You know what I mean?
But those guys have been there. You're talking Lindor and, and a couple other players, they have been there. So they're doing the job.
Yeah, no, you could be right. Could be right. All right. That was some Major League Baseball talk, but let's get into our split decisions.
I don't know how long.
Split decisions. Our split decision segment, basically we ask each other two more likely scenarios, and then we have to make a decision. Ron, you are first this week, so have at it with your first split decision.
Oh, my God. Anyway. Which last place East Division team is more likely to finish first? Atlanta Braves or Baltimore Orioles? Both in last place.
Braves honestly have made a move now, but again, I just talked about the Mets. But Baltimore, again, I think you got the Yankees ahead of them. The Red Sox are in second place. Toronto still has some talent. I'm going to go with, I still don't think either one, but I would go Atlanta before, just because of the track record as well. They've proven that they can get there, and they've done it. But I think it'd be, you're freezing. But I would say, yeah, I would go Atlanta. I think they got a better shot. I like the AL East better with the Yanks and the Red Sox. I think that's going to be the two teams all season long. A good question. All right. My first split decision. Which team that is down 0-2 is more likely to come back and win the series, Ron? The Miami Heat versus the Cavs, or the Orlando Magic versus the Celtics?
You know, that was the one question I was going to ask you. Man, I don't think either one of them can, to be honest with you. I'll just say Miami Heat, because at least I don't think either of them can, to be honest with you.
I don't. The Heat
I can't even give a reason why.
But the Heat have at least seemed to keep it close. Some of the games where you could see, like, hey, maybe in a worst case scenario.
Yeah, maybe if they got 4 baskets in a row, they could take the lead. But no, I don't think either of them.
Yeah, I don't either. But I could see.
It's more likely Miami, because Cleveland, just hasn't had the playoff push like the Celtics have had.
Yeah. That Tatum injury, though, you never know. Porzingis taking a
and that's
crack
even
to the head.
with the Tatum injury, right?
You see the Porzingis taking a shot to the head and the blood coming down. I mean, that's old school basketball right there. All right, Ron, your second split decision.
All right, who is more likely to win Offensive Rookie of the Year for the NFL next year?
Okay.
Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, Ashton Genty.
Yeah.
Genty. If it was Montreal, it would be Genty. Or Gentois. Or Tataroa McMillan, T-Mac, as he likes being called.
T-Mac out. I don't think Carolina's offense is going to be very good. I don't think it'll be Jackson Dart because I don't think he plays this year. I think they go Russell and Jameson, which leaves me with Cam Ward and Genty. Honestly, I think Cam Ward is probably going to win it based on the fact that he's going to have more opportunity. I think Genty, again, it's the whole team around him, and I don't know if they're going to be good enough. So I think Cam Ward will put up better numbers, but again, I would go Cam Ward there. But good question. All right, my second split decision for you, Ron, is which quarterback drafted in the first round last night is more likely to have more wins? Cam Ward of the Titans or Jackson Dart of the New York Giants?
Well, for the same reason that you said, Jackson Dart is probably not going to play this year.
Jackson Dart, is that Joe Dirt's cousin?
Yeah, I think it is. Joe Dirt. From what I understand, Jackson Dart is trying to grow his mullet.
Oh, yeah, he's going to do a little mullet action?
So, I keep wanting to call him Joe. And I may before the show is over. But no, I think Cam Ward, even if he only gets one, that's all you
would probably
need.
be more. Yes. Oh, I agree with you there. So if you're going to Vegas, bet that one. Cam Ward over.
So even if both of them are on the bench at the beginning of the season, Cam Ward probably gets in there in the last game of the year.
Yeah, I think Cam Ward's going to start day one, but we'll
I think so too. But
All right, Ron. some great split decisions there, but it is time for your expertise more than any other, the NHL. Let's talk some National Hockey League. This was a story that came out recently. Boston Bruins CEO Charlie Jacobs vowed that the team would return to the playoffs.
Oh, what the hell happened?
Hey, look at us. Next season.
Wait, what
Is that a reasonable expectation?
I don't even know what happened. Oh, I'm going to press something. I don't know if it's going to work. Oh, that's definitely not.
You added someone. You added there you go. But where's your graphics? There we go, buddy.
I don't know what the heck just happened there.
Oh my goodness. So Boston's Bruins CEO, we'll try this again. Charlie Jacobs vowed that the team would return to the playoffs next season, Ron.
Yeah, there was
Is that a reasonable expectation?
A big, a big, massive, press conference saying, and he, of course, touted Cam Neely and Don Sweeney, who are going nowhere. But
that's the word.
This exactly right. This is a warning for said president and GM. Look, he is claiming that they are going to return, hence the title of the show, The Return, to the playoffs next season.
Okay. So I have some questions. I thought we'd do it this way. I know I'm going to throw you off because I'm sure you got something, but I want to ask some questions and then we can kind of see where we're at. So my first question is, they traded away Trent Frederick, Charlie Coyle, Brandon Carlo, and obviously Brad Marchand. How do they expect to replace them?
Good question. I haven't a clue. They have to score on all their offers in free agency. And it's unrealistic that you're going to get 5 guys coming in the door. It's unrealistic. You will get 2 at best. 2.
Okay. So next question. They finished last in the Atlantic Division, 33, 39, and 10, in a minus 50 in the point differential. What do they do to improve the offense and improve in this area to make it so that the games are closer?
It's not. I don't think it's the offense. I think they're just so bad defensively. And when you looked at that roster at the beginning, and I looked at that roster and I'm matching it up to everybody, going by what they did the past 2 seasons, breaking the record and then following it up 1 point behind the President Trophy, right? 1 point. To a team that was incapable of getting it out of their own end. It's the same players.
Mm-hmm.
How could you be so inept in your own end a season later when you're one of the best defensive teams in the league? And you don't do anything but improve it by getting Zadorov.
Yeah.
It made no sense. But it was what it was. They couldn't do it. They panicked all the time. And in order for this team to get better, they have to be better in their own end.
Okay.
And it's defensively. And they have a lot of issues there.
Good. There's our questions, our next couple questions. Jeremy Swayman, 22, 29, and 7 with 4 shutouts, a 3.11 goals against, and an 8.92 save percentage, which is not very good.
No.
Obviously, that won't cut it. What do they do defensively in front of him to improve that performance next season?
Try not to panic. Have some conviction when you bring the puck out of your end. You know, you can't just toss it away blindly and put it right on the stick of an offensive player or a defensive player for that matter. You know, they're passing it, right to the point men, and they get clear looks. Those wingers aren't covering their player. They like to wander and look for that breakout, and that leaves a guy wide open on those points. And that's the problem. They're getting a nice shot off, and players are cleaning it up with easy rebounds because the defensemen are just standing there watching instead of doing.
Okay. So health concerns and injuries were an issue. Charlie McAvoy played only 50 games, and Hampus Lindholm only played 17.
That was the big one.
If they return, do you see a improvement on the defensive side for the Boston Bruins?
Especially Lindholm, because he was playing really well when he went down. Charlie McAvoy did not have a good year. And, he has to come back. And I think with Charlie McAvoy, it might be because of possibly getting suspended, because of hits. He has been suspended before.
Yeah.
So I think he's been a little hesitant playing that physical game. And if that's the case, he's no use of Boston. Plain and simple. If he's not playing physical, he's a defensive liability. And he has cost them many goals this season.
Yeah. Okay. Last question. What do they do to help David Pastrnak in scoring? So he led the team with 43 goals. Geeky was next with 33. And then third on the team was Brad Marchand, who obviously is no longer with the team. Who is going to be that offensive player that actually takes some of the responsibility off of Pasternak's play?
They don't play for them right now.
Okay, so you think it's going to be a sign or it's going to be a draft?
They have to get a free agent in there that can score. Has to be. If they don't get one, they're not going back to the playoffs. Now, I like some of these kids that Nustendinov, whatever his name is. He's actually, I like how he plays. I don't know if he's going to be, a goal scorer or anything. I don't know if he knows how to put himself in the right places, but he's pretty decent. Lysell showed me he can play this game, and they need to play him more. And the guy they got from Toronto, Minton, he's got some skills as well. But those aren't guys that are going to put you over that hump. They got to go out and get a free agent. You gotta get somebody. And whether you're going to pluck from like Winnipeg or Vancouver, or some of these other teams, you got to get a goal scorer. You got to get one. And you need a playmaker. Those are the two things they need.
So my final question, do the Boston Bruins actually live up to Charlie Jacobs' vow and make the postseason next year?
Put your money where your mouth is. That's all I can tell you. I don't know. As it's constructed right now, no. They have to go get a playmaker and a goal scorer. Good luck spending the money on that. That's all I can tell you.
All right. Great Bruins talk, but we're going to continue this NHL talk with our pick and roll.
It's time for Pick and Roll.
Our pick and roll tonight, the year is 2017, episode 17, year 2017. And these NHL draft players that were drafted, Elias Peterson, Nico Heischer, did I say it right? Heischer, Jason Robertson, Nick Suzuki, Martin Nikas, and Kale Natchez. Martin Natchez, and Cale Makar. We're going to rank them from 6 to 1. You are first. And just so you know, Shedeur Sanders did not go to Cleveland.
Oh, jeez.
Carson Schiswinger, linebacker from UCLA, number 1. Went number 1 today. The Houston Texans are on the clock. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Although they have the 4th pick
That's
too,
killing.
so they may grab him at 4.
Wow.
But it is time to rank them, Ron, 6 to 1. Your pick and roll.
All right. You know, I like all these players. But Nick Suzuki right now is number 6 for me. He's starting to come along though. He had a great year this year. Not so much in the playoff stuff. 138 for goals, 237 assists, 375 points in 455 games. He is a minus 57 for his career. That's not going to get it done on this list because he's the only one that is a negative in that category, but he's got some skill, and I think he's starting to blossom now. Number 5, I have Nico Hischier from the Devils, 171 goals, 251 assists. He's a plus 21, 24 game-winning goals, no accolades, did not win Calder, did not get an all-rookie mention. So I have him at number 5. Number 4, Martin Natchez, who's now gonna play the next couple of years. I'm guessing for Colorado. 124 goals, 202 assists in 441 games, a plus 25 with 28 game winners. He has no accolades at all. But I like his game. I think he's one of those players that certainly has the skill to be a top scorer in the league. Number 3, Elias Pettersson from the Vancouver Canucks. 471 games played. He has 457 points, almost a point a game, and 195 of those are goals. He is a plus 46, 33 game winners, which leads all these players. He won a Calder Trophy, and none of these guys have won a cup except for one.
Yeah.
And that person is coming. So number 2, Jason Robertson. To me, those two guys are like right there together in their career. 374 games. He has 168 goals, 226 assists for 394 points. He's better than a point a game. Plus 95, 31 game winners. He has an all-star appearance. Of course, an all-rookie. I really like this player. He's fantastic for Dallas Stars, who right now currently lead 2-1. So if they can win another game in Colorado, they take a stronghold. But that leaves the number 1 player on this list. I don't think it's close. Cale Makar, 395 games. He has 428 points, better than a point a game. Now, he has 116 goals, which is last on this list. But the man is a defenseman. 312 assists. He is so vital to the Colorado Avalanche. I mean, he gets mentioned among the top of all time. And I don't think he's the next Bobby Orr. but he's pretty damn good. I mean, you see a lot of that kind of player in him. It's not that same kind of a game these days.
Yeah.
But he's pretty damn good. 136 is his plus minus,
Yes.
which is by far the best of all of these guys. 24 game-winning goals, which is pretty impressive for a defenseman that's only been around for a few years.
Yeah.
4-time All-Star, better than all of the other players combined. He has won the Stanley Cup, a Norris Trophy, and a Conn Smythe for playoff MVP. This guy is clearly the best on this list.
So we saw it pretty similar. At 6, I had Nick Suzuki. I agree with you. The minus of 57, I just cannot put him any higher on this list. We flip-flopped 4 and 5. I had Martin Natchez.
Yeah.
And then Nico Hischier. So again, I just about 70 more points and you know what I mean, a few more goals and assists on both ends. So that's why I put
played
him
an
out.
extra season.
Yeah. I did have Jason Robertson at 3. And I did that because Elias Pettersson, again, if you look at it, again, almost 60 more points, a plus minus. Obviously, Robinson much better, but both of them, Calder, one's got an all-star, both on the all-rookie team. But Cale Makar, by far, to your point, dominated the numbers here for a defenseman, considering what he was going against, and was still the better of the players. So, good list. I mean, quality players.
Yeah, they are. They're really good players.
Nobody was.
And I would love, one or two of these to be in Boston.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, Ron, before we get into our predictions, let's talk about our Hall of Fame. So recently just inducted Mike Tyson into our Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. So we were excited about that. And Shaquille O'Neal. So both of them are now into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. But we have some new voting up. And it is on our Sports Unfolded Sports Poll page on Facebook. So you check that out. Vote for your favorite players. And let us know who you pick for the
it looks like
Unfolded.
I deleted the graphics for
All
it.
right. Awesome. So we'll get that next time.
So wait a minute. I can put I still have these up here.
So for the NHL, you have Jaromir Jagr, Teemu Selanne, Theo Fleury, Mark Recchi, and Pavel Bure. And for Major League Baseball, it is Jack Morris, Roger Clemens, Fernando Valenzuela, Nolan Ryan, and Oral Hershiser. So again, really good players. You get to vote and elect the next inductee into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. So go to the Sports Unfolded Sports Poll page on Facebook. Cast your votes now to help us induct our next member of the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. We're excited about that. Check out the website. Yes. Great page. Gives you all of the accolades as well. But Ron, it is prediction time, and rough week for me. You gained some ground back after losing some ground. So we've been kind of bouncing back and forth this year. 1-7 last week for me, 5-3 for you, 2-6 for Kenny. If you are joining us live, please give us your picks as we call off the games, and we will add your name or add to your already win or loss totals. All right, Ron, we are starting off with the NBA, and on April 25th tonight, you got the Los Angeles Lakers at the Minnesota Timberwolves. That series is tied 1-1.
I'm going to go Minnesota.
I wanted to go Minnesota at home, and I did go Minnesota at home, so I don't know why I X'd that out. So I did go Minnesota as well. Minnesota, listen, even the game the Lakers won, it was slow, sloppy. I just think Minnesota has the opportunity to take over. right now. So I went Minnesota.
Yeah,
Danny's going to
I
Lakers.
agree.
All right, Danny.
I agree with that. I just think, overall, I think Minnesota just has a better team, but I still worry about LeBron and Luca. I still
Yeah.
worry about that. I mean, look, I know I get all over him, but he does have a tendency to carry a team at least one time in the series, right? And then Luca, he is known for carrying his team all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, you got that Dallas Mavericks team to the finals last year, which was very unexpected. All right.
I still don't know who's going to win that series because it's just
Well,
too
regret.
close.
Yeah,
It's
you
too
might be
close.
right. You might be right, Danny. We're not doing so well this year. Um, the second game we have in the NBA, April 26th, Ron, the Houston Rockets at the Golden State Warriors. I think this Jimmy Butler injury is going to affect the Warriors. It already proved it in game 2. So I went Houston, even though they're on the road.
Yeah, I went Houston as well. Look, that's a big injury for this team. I don't know if they can withstand it. And if he's out, if he's playing, he's probably only going to be like 50%.
Yeah.
I just think Houston's all over that. They're going to take advantage of that.
So you're going Houston as well. Danny, you have a pick?
Yeah, I hope so. Danny, pick the game. Houston or Golden State, Danny.
Trying to see who Cleveland just picked. It's still
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Cleveland picks Quinshawn Junkins, running back from Ohio State.
So they didn't even pick him with the second choice.
Second pick in the second with the hand.
That
And
speaks
4.
volumes.
The Raiders are on the clock now, though. Are you picking Danny? I get it. Are you picking Houston Rockets at the Golden State Warriors? Houston, there we go, buddy.
Why is he shouting?
I don't know. He likes to he talks a lot. NHL action, Ron. April 26th, you got the Vegas Golden Knights at the Minnesota Wild.
Yeah, Minnesota's up 2-1. Vegas, I'm going to take Vegas to win this one. If Minnesota wins this, it could be good night.
I went Vegas as well. It just Hakeem the Dream was the man back in the day. Vegas Golden Knights, I think, need to win this. They have the experience. So I think they understand the importance of this game. So yeah, I went Vegas Golden Knights here as well. Vegas. All right, Danny. April 26th, Ron, the Dallas Stars at the Colorado Avalanche. Dallas up 2-1 in this series. I think Colorado needs this. They're at home. I think they got their butts kicked the last game. So I think there's going to be an intensity there. So I went Colorado.
Yeah, I'm going Colorado. Looks to me like this series could go 7. So I go Colorado to tie up the series.
Yeah, it should be. I hope so. This was the series we wanted. So.
Yeah, these games are on so freaking late.
Danny, be nice. Behave. Dallas Stars. All right. April 27th, Ron. You got the Winnipeg Jets at the St. Louis Blues. Blues in their last game. I mean, they put a whooping on the Jets. Who do you got?
I got the Jets. The Jets are going to take a 3-1 lead. I don't doubt Winnipeg comes back from that
Okay.
and sends a message.
Yeah, I went Blues here because I think a little momentum now at home. I think Winnipeg again. You get that President's Cup jinx, and maybe it's in the back of their head. And I'm not saying the Jets lose this series, but I think St. Louis could tie it up. So I went St. Louis here. I went St. Louis Blues. Danny, all right. April 25th, tonight, we got a Major League Baseball 3-game series. The Texas Rangers at the San Francisco Giants. Both of these teams in first place. I went San Francisco here. I think at home. I think they take 2 or 3.
I'm going Texas here. I think Texas gets it done. I think they got a great pitching staff. They've got some good hitters there in that lineup. I like what they can do, and I will take Texas on the road.
All right. I like it. Danny, who do you have? Vegas trades the pick to Miami. Could this be Shedeur Sanders?
That would be a good move for Miami.
Yeah. Danny went Texas. All right. And last but not least, NASCAR is back. The Jack Links 500 in Talladega. Need a top 5 driver, Ron. We are on fire with this. We have not missed the past few weeks. We can tell you're a Texas guy.
Wait, who got it last time?
I won last time. There was no race last week.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It was Easter. Yeah. I'm going with Ryan Blaney.
Okay, Ryan Blaney.
Ryan Blaney.
It's a good pick. I almost went him. I went Brad Keselowski. Right, so. But, all right, that is our prediction segment. I know Danny doesn't like Miami did not go Shedeur Sanders. They went Johan Salvanea, a guard from Arizona. Guard.
He might not even be a second rounder.
He may not. Guess who's on the clock, though? New England. Could it be? No. He's not going to New England. So with that,
well, they downgraded their quarterback situation.
Yeah, I can't say I'm going to.
What do they have? Dobbs or whatever his name is.
Dobbs is their backup now.
Oh my God.
So again, next week, Danny, tune in. We'll let you know how you did. You possibly could win a prize.
You could.
You got to beat us. All right. So with that, Ron, before we get into our final thoughts, I always allow you the opportunity to tell all the wonderful people out there that are watching, listening, and will watch later.
Did you just say watching?
Watching. Watching.
It's got a new word.
Let them know how they could become a sponsor of Sports Unfolded and get their business everywhere.
Yeah, Eric. It's just what we do every week, right? We talk about this. So to sponsor the show, all you have to do is send us an email to ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. Your ad will be here. We will read the ad. So not only will people see it, but it will be heard on the audio version for Spotify, Amazon, Red Circle, and many more. So send us that email at ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. And Eric, like I always say, it's like going to your local coffee shop, right? You know, it's beautiful out there. Today was absolutely gorgeous. No problem to get an iced coffee with, a chocolate eclair. How about that? Chocolate eclair. Right? Or a breakfast sandwich.
Yeah.
You get a breakfast sandwich in the morning.
Absolutely. Again, thousands of eyes and ears on your business every week. So really great opportunity for your business. Help us continue to grow as well. Let's thank those again in other markets. WDJY 99.1 FM, Dallas, Georgia. You guys have been amazing, as well as WBOB 990 in Providence, Rhode Island, and SEC TV Public Access Channel 12 in Southeast Connecticut, every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. If you are listening or watching, tune in every Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join us like Danny did today and Derek, and definitely give us an opportunity to have some conversations with you as well. But Ron, it is time for our show to come to an end. We always have our final thoughts, and our final thoughts don't necessarily have to be about anything sports related. It can be about anything going on in the world today. You are first this week, so please, your final thoughts.
Oh, boy, what I really want to say. Look, it is the NFL draft. And we always put this spotlight on those top few picks. And, everybody does it. We all go through it. Your hopes and dreams lie on this first round pick, and it's going to bring you into a new season filled with hopes and promises. Well, sometimes it always doesn't work out like that. You always get those busts in that first round. You always have some guys that maybe get some injuries. And then it falls upon those guys late in the draft to bring, okay, we have a guy here that can fill a spot. Not all the time it's just filling a spot. As we found out, the greatest draft pick of all was in round 6, way back when, about 20 plus years ago, when they drafted Tom Brady, and lo and behold, the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. Maybe someone out there could be that next one. And it could be round 2, it could be round 4, 6, 7, could be an undrafted player. But if you get the opportunity, make the best of it. Learn. You never know what happens. Just learn, shut up, play the game, and be thankful.
Well said. Well said. My final thought actually is I gained a new respect and maybe a favorite player from an opposing team that I never thought would happen, because I am very loyal to my New England Patriots. But I am honestly becoming a fan of Derek Harmon. He was the first round draft pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And a very sad story coming out of this was that, you go through many emotions as a draft pick in the NFL. Obviously, most of the time you're elated. You finally made it to your dream or your goal. Unfortunately for Derek Harmon, his mom was on life support. She had suffered a stroke many years ago and had several brain surgeries. He was waiting to get drafted before he could go see his mom in the hospital. Once he was drafted, he went to the hospital to let his mom know, and then she passed away a few hours later. Just thinking about the emotions that a human being must have gone through that day, he's become a little bit of my favorite player, because that was a tough story to hear. Thinking about how his mom, even during brain surgeries, would take the time to bring him to practice so he could fulfill his dream and live his dream. So you know what? I hope he does well. And I know we said some things yesterday about maybe not being the best pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know what? Maybe it was destiny that he had an opportunity to say to his mom before she passed away that he became an NFL player for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So congratulations, Derek Harmon. I know you must be going through so much, but what a remarkable opportunity to at least tell your mom one last time that you made it. So I wish you well.
She wanted to know that he was okay.
Yeah. So,
and I went through it with my mom a couple of years ago. And once she realized I was okay, that's when she passed away. And I've got a feeling that he went through the same thing. So rest in peace. And I'm sure she's going to be watching. She will be watching your career.
Yeah, she'll be proud.
So make the best of it, please.
Absolutely.
It's all we can ask.
That's it.
That's all we can ask.
Well, that's been our show for tonight. I want to thank those that have joined us live. Danny, as always, you're awesome. Derek as well. Just want to thank everybody that's going to watch afterwards. Please like, share, follow our show. Check us out on all our social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter,
That was
TikTok.
the best final thought.
No, thank you. But I will say this too. You can check out the website, check out the our Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame, and check out all of the great players that you have inducted in there as well. Always as a pleasure, Ron. I love doing the show with you, and I'm so lucky and blessed to have that opportunity. So thank you. I thank everybody out there. And all we ever ask for every single show is that we get peace on earth.
Have a great night, everyone.